you've created something called the Craft Coaching Method, right? Let's
Yes.
let's let's talk a little bit about that, about what you got existing and what you got planned.
Well, basically, what I do is it starts with the foundation, the transformation, transforming your life after loss is probably is the foundational piece, right? And that's where we start, because that's what people need to deal with, need to understand, because they can't do anything else. Pardon me, Cliff. They can't do anything else until they deal with that, until they figure that one out, right? You can't go to that higher level. You can't create that life you love living without without dealing with loss and grief and transforming your life. Okay. So transforming your life after loss, finding your peace, joy, and happiness. That's the foundational piece. A lot of people think that's the end game. It's not, to me, that's just the beginning. Right. Then the second piece of the craft coaching method is basically it's where we start talking about how to build that foundation, how to build and create a vision for your life. There's the difference between dreams and visions, by the way, and both are important. Okay. But then you have to be able to create that vision and be clear. You have to bring clarity to it, because it's important. You can't just go out there and just go willy-nilly, right? And a lot of that goes back to wanting and willing and deciding and that kind of thing. And then once you create that vision, and it's a clear vision, and you know exactly where you're headed and where you want to go, you still don't have the path forward, by the way. You just know what the vision is. You know what you want. And then the third part of it is is actually manifesting that, creating that, and then causing that to come to pass in your life. So those are the three pieces of the coaching platform. We start with transforming your life after loss. Then we go through creating the vision process and really getting clear on what that is and what you want. And by the way, there's no template for it. There's no right or wrong for it. It is what it is, right? And the third piece is the manifesting of it. And by the way, this coaching part of it, my coaching process too, there's a spiritual aspect to that as well, because I believe that true transformation happens from the inside out. We're a spirit being. We have a body, we have a soul, we have mind, will, and emotions. But true transformation occurs, I believe, starts with the spirit and then kind of works outward from there. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. I love the distinction. Let's spend just a minute on dreams versus vision.
Sure.
Right? Because I think some people confuse those two, and I think that there was based back to Napoleon Hill, and then it went back to The Secret. It was all about if you think about it, it's going to come true, right? Because thoughts are things if you think about it. But if you read Think and Grow Rich, I think it's the word action appears like 77 times in the text.
Yes.
So there's a distinction there. Let's talk a little bit about dreams versus vision.
Well, dreams, in my opinion, dreams are everything, right? I mean, it's everything you could ever possibly want. And I encourage people in the second tier of coaching to dream, and don't dream a little dream, dream a big dream, dream things that are impossible, and come up with the wildest stuff you can come up with, and then create that vision. The vision piece of it is I think narrowing it down and making it more, I don't want to, I hate it when people say, okay, so there's a thing going around, right? You've heard of, I'm going to take a left turn here a little bit. You've heard of SMART goals, right? What is it called? Specific, measurable, actionable. I forget what the R and T are. Anyway, I hate it when people try to do that with a vision, because you can't. Your vision has to be personalized to you. It has to be what you want. For example, my vision started out as a book, right? But then it morphed into coaching, it morphed into workshops, it morphed into a speaking tour. I want to put together a group of coaches that are really high level and really good at what they do and do a national speaking tour. I mean, it's morphing into more books, it's morphing into courses, all kinds of stuff, right? And so and my vision continues to grow, but it grows specifically, if that makes sense to you. And I know what will happen is, as I go down the road here, that vision will change, it will increase, it will become different, and it will morph into something else. I've shared with you a lot of what I want to do and what I want to accomplish. And so you can kind of see what my vision is, but that all started with a dream. And that all started with dreams of, and it's not just about dreams of having stuff, not just material stuff either, by the way. Vision for me also is equated with purpose. I believe everybody needs a purpose for their life. They need to have a reason to get up in the morning, a reason to go do whatever it is they're going and doing. I think we've all been caught in vocations or jobs we hated or thought were pointless. And I remember having those thoughts many times, but with this, what I do now, I mean, it lights me up inside, and I know it's important, and I know it's a big deal. So I think vision is equated with purpose as well. And maybe that's
it's so cool that you think about, like from your dream standpoint, to dream big, because um, you said you started out with the book, right? And then all these other ideas came from that, right? So,
Yeah.
and I think there's an important piece there of getting started. You have to get started, and people say take a step and everything, but it's really about uh, that you have to take a step. You have to get started. So let's talk about the importance of getting started,
Okay.
no matter where you're at.
Yep. So it's key. I mean, because if you don't get started, you'll never get finished, right? And let's just use my book as an example. So back in July of this year, June or July maybe, I was sitting down and I thought, okay, I'm going to write this book. It's going to be a short book. It's going to be 13, 14, 15 chapters, whatever it is, 115, 120 words, maybe something like that, something like that. Probably not 120 words, probably more.
Pages. That's
pages. Right. There you go. Thanks, Cliff. But I'm thinking, okay, so what do I have to do to write the book? Well, I need to know where the book's going to go. So I wrote the table of contents, right? The first table of contents, which is completely different now than it was when I started, by the way. And then I wrote the first chapter. I wrote the introduction, and then I let it sit for 4 months or 3 months, whatever it was. And I think about it and I go, I really need to go down and finish that book, but I got this to do. I'm tired today. I want to go watch a movie. I want to go have a glass of wine, whatever. Right. And, so I didn't do it. And then about 3 months later, 3.5, 4 months later, I thought, this is stupid. You got to go write the book. And so I put myself on a personal schedule, a personal calendar, and I wrote the remainder of the book. And I think about 8 days, something like that, because I just got determined, right? And I revamped my Chamber of Commerce. I revamped my table of contents so it reflected more of what I wanted it to be, which is what it is today. And I wrote the book, every chapter, and then I sent it to an editor and started the editing process and the rewriting process. So that's how my process began. So I kind of got started. Then I stalled out, and then I started again, because I thought, this is dumb. You've got everything and you know how to do this. And I think it was fear-based, to be honest with you. I think, I dealt with imposter syndrome. I mean, do I really know enough to write this book? Am I smart enough? Are people going to listen to it? Are they going to like it? Is it something they're going to want? Is it something they're going to implement? Is it going to help them? All these different questions. And you just have to set all that stuff aside, get out of your head, right? And get back into your body. How does writing the book make me feel? That makes me feel good. It makes me feel excited because I know it's important on a visceral level. I know it's important stuff and that people need it and they're going to benefit from it. So that was my process. So yeah, you have to get started.